And welcome back to Career Build Series, episode number 65. And so we're right where we left off last time. I am currently pumping a bunch of diesel and jet fuel from the rig, as you can see in the background there, to the train. I'm also filling up the train as the game stole 4,000 liters of jet fuel from me. So currently that's pumping up, as you can see. So should be pretty quick before we fill that. Then I can start pumping the diesel tanker car. But currently pumping, as you can see, jet fuel in here, and we have diesel going here. I have this all set up. It's now working. Yay. And so that'll be good. So we'll be able to put quite a bit in the FJ Warner dock. And so let's go ahead and look at the map of Rooney. Now, I currently don't have any missions going on here. What is up with all of these hospitals here? Hospital boat, hospital boat, hospital boat, hospital boat. We have enough hospital boats there, devs. Let's hospital boat. I have enough hospital boats. What's that? That's a regular hospital. Cut back on hospital boats. All right, too many hospital boats. What do we have here for a mission? Blue pickup truck has emergency. Okay, that would be kind of interesting, but that's a hunt. Currently, I want to get this going. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I will just time lapse this out, and I'll rejoin with you guys once this is filled up. Alright, so we are officially full on both tankers. They both have 29,000 liters in them, so let's go ahead and we'll go up to the new pumping station. I really like the look of it, and we will go ahead and we'll disconnect. We'll bring the train back to FJ, and we will fill up the both the diesel and the jet fuel storage there, so that's nice. I started doing work on a new coal mining vehicle. I would like to do some coal mining. It's a little bit interesting. It's in the mountain itself. It's on the walls, so that would be kind of cool. So kind of started a little something on that. It might be in a video. I'm not sure. I'm not looking to actually work on that right now, but I'll probably do some missions to kind of finish up the episode, and then go ahead and do that some other time. But you know, it's offering me more variety, which is always nice, of things I can do. So let's go ahead and we want to disconnect. And so the train is also full. I used the diesel there and I shut off infinite fuel. So it stole 4,000 liters from me, which isn't the end of the world. So this has infinite electricity, essentially these stationary bases. So as you can see, we're actually filling up quantity now. And because these are back to, so the train is full, and these are at 26,000 a pop, so these will go till they're full, and then you know, I'll shut this down at some point. But it'd be nice to have some stored refined diesel and jet fuel there, and then the two oils will fill up as well, so that will make it so that I can refine more. So it's nice to have all that set to go. At some point that will my understanding is the oil level will go down. It probably recuperates, I'm not sure, but you know, even if it goes down, we just have to drill some more. So the way that system works, I can easily put the rig back on to drill, but at that point we probably have enough fuel for our needs. So electric cart works well to move these around. The crane's working well. Train's working well. I like the new tanker cars a lot better. Let's go ahead and park brake you and disconnect. So really, really liking the way the train's coming out. Where are these going? Okay, these go here. So, all right, so this one goes here. Nope, don't do that, please. Hose in. There we go. I can leave that and just let that hang a little bit. All right, so that is set up. Let's grab you. But as you can see, 29,406. liters in each tank, so that's a nice bit of diesel and jet fuel there. So that should tide us off a little bit. I do need to be careful though, as you can see, I accidentally wasted 4,000 liters spawning the train and out. It's when you recall it to the bench, when you teleport the vehicle, it is able to, you'll lose your fuel, so you have to be careful of that. So want to hose in, but I don't want a ton of tension on that. That could cause physical problems if I put a ton of tension on it. So, good. All right, so those are set. Let's shut these buttons off here. So I have a couple toggles here. And I think I still have infinite electricity, and I don't need that on. Oh, grab the friggin' thing. All right, I grabbed this here. Let's go there. That's fine. All right, let's jump on here and grab the cart. So the cart needs to go forward a little bit. All right, we're out here. We're close. All right, so just a little bit forward on the cart. All right, there's good. But nice, clean, simple system. Let's press 6 so that we will attach the cart as soon as we get in range. Press space so we can attach this. There we go. Let's bring it up. But this system works well. I like it. It's pretty compact, and it's easy, and it works well. And it works with some of the game mechanics, you know. Some of the game mechanics may be, you know, a little bit peculiar potentially. But it works out well. All right, nice. So that cart is in place. Crane is stowed. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Excellent. So I'd like to do some missions. Let's get this train back. Doesn't take all that long to get going here with this. I'm glad the track switcher is working now. It was just, like I said before, an electrical issue. And we're on the rail again. Yeah, so I go about 70, I think that's meters per second. All right, so let's get going out of here. Yeah, we'll head back. But coming along nicely. Not sure what missions have popped up now. I was playing something else while I was letting this process. So let's see. We have Green Tug. A lot of people have been talking about, especially this mission in particular, is the Green Tug often has a very long tow distance. So it could take you easily, say, 40 minutes to get out if you were up here, and then 40 minutes to get back. So here it would probably take us, I don't know, 30 minutes to get the tug, get over here, get hooked up, another 40 minutes to head up there. It's like 2 hours for really a pittance of money. I would like to see them kind of re-engineer some of the rewards for some of these and make them worth the while. You know, you should be getting good money for, you know, the amount of time you're putting in. So, you know, some of the search and rescue ones where you're not sure, it could, you know, you could stumble across something really quickly. It could take you a long time. You know, something like that, transport that green tugboat, you know, is very low on money. Now, and you could also do it yourself. You know, you can go in the XML and say, okay, well, 6,900 is not worth it, but that's the mission I want to do. I can go in my XML and give myself extra money. Let's say 16,900 is probably more of a reasonable amount of cash for doing something like that. So you could say, okay, well, I'll give myself the extra money. You know, but really liking the new tanker cars. They look a lot better. They're, yeah, I really like those a lot better. You know, the other ones are just kind of slapdash, trying to get something in, and these are a little bit better. I have good visibility around them. I do like having the smoke on this locomotive. You know, kind of the era of this, it was kind of an old smoky, you know, locomotive, so got to keep that aesthetic. Go ahead, and we're going to be getting close here, and so we get up there. I'm going to actually physically offload. I'll pump these out using the bench, and we'll see what we have for mission, and maybe go do that mission or a mission. I think that'll be a good way to do it. A little bit of building, a little bit of mission work is always nice to do. I like having a little bit of a balance. I'm really thrilled that the game is running really well. Like, this game's been up for a while, AFK a lot, and pumping oil, still 62 FPS, so really doing well now. It was definitely that ADF add-on, which, like I said before, it wasn't causing me any problems. I'm curious if when they changed the landmass for the oil update, if something changed that caused, you know, some sort of collision that was affecting my ADFs. You know, so it could have been that. It could have also been, I'm trying to remember if when I had some lag issues. I might have had some of the lag issues during Cap Air, so it could have even been Air Biome Edition that caused some of it. But I'm not sure, so I'll play with that add-on at some point and try to do it, or I'll fake it and put just some, some shacks, some different shacks. Part of the reason why I have to have those. So one of the issues that I'm having with that is they have to be active in the world at all times, and the reason is they're always beaming out their location via radio. And so you need to get within a certain distance for the things to start rendering and popping back into the environment, and I can't set that render distance, and so the shacks are not popping in at a 40 kilometer range. Well, you have a 40 kilometer range with the two stations, with the two antennas, two huge antennas, because you're adding up 20 on each. And so I would need those stations to pop back in if I get within 40 kilometers of them, and it won't do that. So I have to keep them up in the world at all times, which is very resource intensive. All right, so we're coming up here on the switcher. I'll start slowing us down. So I'll just set my speed to something low, like 5, let it kind of slow itself down. This is the type of system I like, though. It's just a set speed system. And then when I press the 0 button, it will activate the brake. So there's no braking on that. It will brake if it needs to, but generally it doesn't need to accomplish it. And so now we'll press this and you'll hear the brakes. All right, and so we're going to go track switcher. Beautiful. Now let's go ahead forward. So this is my favorite way to run a train, is with this set speed. You're telling it what speed you want, the PID's controlling it. And it will automatically apply brakes when it needs to. So especially these diesel electric locomotives, they use regenerative braking. So essentially you're changing the polarity in the electric motors for the wheels. And so it's recharging batteries when it puts resistance on the wheels, which is a form of braking. It's like regenerative braking a car. So change the polarity, and it actually turns the motors into generators. And so if I really need to stop, if I press the 0 button to slam on the brakes, it will apply the brakes. But for the most part, it's just using the motors to stop it. So it'd be nice to get into some coal. I kind of have that on my mind. One thing I'd like to do is get I'm pretty close to having that finished, having the truck chassis finished. And I talked about this before, where I'm trying to do more modular stuff, like my car system that I set up. And so when I want to build a new truck, I really like to build everything in the... Oh, stop. Going on the wrong track there. So, like the car stuff, all that's very easy for me to build now. I take those car parts and I just, I have all the guts that need to make it work, and it's really simple and easy to build another one. And I like to do that with tractors so that I can... Oh, let's go back up here. For some reason it didn't switch over. There we go. Okay. And so try to do that on trucks. So I'm trying to have a truck chassis that it's all set for a tractor. That's what I call a truck. Is a semi-truck is a tractor. And so a tractor chassis, and then I can plug in different transmissions. So if I want the 10-speed, or if I want the 18-speed, I want to build a new 13-speed. 13-speed you often get in dump trucks. 18-speed you'll get in a lot of heavy haul road trucks. Like if you see trucks that are hauling like really heavy construction equipment, they'll often have 18s in there. And that way I can build us a new truck that is, at least the shell of it is built, in the career build series. So it's not like, you have to keep going back and looking. But, I tend to get to this point in the career build series, starting to get up in the episode numbers. And as the builds get more complicated, I kind of do a few of them on screen. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll do a separate little build series where it might be 5 videos to get a build up and running. And then you can see me build that build. But I like to try to do as much on screen as possible, let you guys see it. A lot of people enjoy that and see different techniques and see different ideas, and it inspires them. And I like watching other people build and how they do it. It inspires me as well. So that is important. get inspired. So let's go ahead and... What is this? This is... So one thing I can do for now is... So if you go under the... I have to paint that. But if you go to the fluid meter and you page up, it will tell you what's in there. It has... see how it has some oil? The filters aren't working perfectly. And so we're getting some crap in there, but it has 29,403 of diesel. Let's go ahead and do this really quick. I want to make sure I don't clog this up inadvertently, so I'm going to save this. I have a fear that if that gets oil in our bench, it's going to clog up the bench. So let's be careful here. So this one is, let's just verify for a second time. This is diesel before I put it in the wrong pump. That's diesel. Okay. I might use the old depreciated ones to fix that. That's an issue. Let's go where we pump in right here. I think they're actually in here. I think somebody showed in the add-on editor that this actually has the old school filters in here, and they were like, "Oh, look at the devs. The devs, you know, even use the old school filters." The reason why the devs explained, I think it was Beginner, he did it. He put it in the Steam post. Why they did that was, it's essentially, I don't know if cheating is the right word. Again, in a single-player game, I don't think you can cheat. But what it does is it is getting around kind of the point of this new system. The new system is trying to be more realistic and give us a more engaging an oil gameplay where you have to fraction. And so that's I'm actually really thrilled they did that. They could have, you know, kind of cheated it away and made it a little bit silly and gamified, but they actually went a reasonable way where, you know, I've shown before what a fractioning tower is, how it works, how you have different levels and you port off different types of you know, either fuels or asphalt or, you know, different types of fuels like diesel, jet, and gasoline. And I'm really happy they did it that way. But what you'd be able to do is take the old school filter and essentially pump everything into one tank and mix it and then just draw off what you want. And you still can do that. You can take an old depreciated filter from any of your builds. You can go in the workshop, people who put the depreciated filter on there, and do that if you want. But part of this is the devs are saying, hey, you know, we're doing a new paradigm shift here. The new paradigm shift is it's a little bit more realistic. You have to use a fractioning tower instead of just kind of cheating, you know, diesel and gasoline or diesel and jet fuel into existence. And so that's why they did it. And so the reason why they're using, I would say, the old school filters here is for this very problem I had. You notice I had a little bit of oil in here, less than 0 jet fuel, but I had like 2.4 liters of oil in there. And I probably have a little bit of contamination in here. Well, those filters are going to keep that contamination from getting in my tanks and clogging the tanks. So I would say they probably did it to prevent clogs. Like, see here, we're all jet fuel in here. But I would say that would be the reason they did that, is to try to prevent the clogs. All right, so I'll let this pump out, and I will get back to you guys when that is completed. All right, so the tanks are empty. These two on the train here that are all in the bench here. What I'm going to do is grab the diesel one here, and I'm actually going to... I might as well pump out my trains tank. You know, it will hopefully go back to the workbench anyways. The reason wasn't before was just that I was recalling it via teleportation, and when you teleport it back, it will, you know, lose the fuel in there. So I'm just putting it back in there. It won't take very long to get out. So I'm trying to think of what we have next to do. So let's go ahead and we'll zoom out. Green tugboat would be cool, but that's a long run. Let's see. Yeah, that's quite a, you know, that's, we could do that, but that is, I'd have to put on time lapse for all that. That's going to take quite a while to get out there. It would be kind of fun to get back up north for a little bit. We're low on money. If you look, we have the rig out, the pumping rig, and we have the train out, and we're down to 16,000. We really need to start considering making some money. And that tugboat transportation is just, it's not viable at $6,900. That's a lot to get out there. We're probably making, you know, minimal money if we do that. So it's the thing that I'm thinking of doing here. Let's see. Coal. Probably, you know, we don't want to lose too much of our diesel. Most of our vehicles are powered by diesel. As you can see, we have 29,896 liters of diesel, so we have a good bit of diesel. Jet fuel, we have more than enough jet fuel than we need. And we're also still pumping, so we're filling our tanks consistently there. So one thought I had was, I could get the tugboat set up to go out, and what we'll do is bring the tug up here with a barge. I'm a huge proponent of the tug and barge system. This also is very useful. Like, think of it like trains. You have a power unit, that's your locomotive, and you have train cars, and so you can reconfigure the train however you want. You want to haul lumber with a train, you can hook up a flatbed car or a lumber car. You want to haul logs, you can hook up a car for that. You want to haul liquids, you can hook up liquid containers. You want to haul cars, you can hook up a car container. Same thing with tractor trailer. The tractor is the power unit, and then you have your trailer, and so you can do all different types of trailers. If you get a ship that is just a tanker, well, that tanker ship generally can't carry containers. If you have a container ship, it generally can't carry liquids. And so if you do a barge and tug type of system, you have a power unit. Again, you have the tug, and then you have the barge you're moving. So what I think we'll do here is we'll do tug and barge. And one of the reasons for this is they got rid of surge pricing because we were having issues with it. I think, again, I have no official word from them. But as you can see, we have static prices here. And some people have been saying that they'll disappear after a while. So I'm curious if that's baked in the cake, is the way they kind of quote-unquote fixed it for now until they can come up with a better solution. Is it has a static price, because what you were doing is, like, it might say, hey, you can sell your diesel here for $9, and so wow, that's a lot of money. And you go bring your barge over here, and in the first, like, 5 minutes, it's down to 50 cents. And so, you know, if you brought a large tanker over there, well, you're stuck. And so what I think we'll do is this. I will we'll fill the barge up with some jet fuel, and we'll take it north, and we'll bring it up to here. And this is a dock, and it has dock bollards. It has places for me to tie off the barge. I'm going to bring the barge that has anchors. I can actually, when I'm done selling, let's say that disappears and I can't sell anymore, I can pull the barge out and I can leave it on anchor and actually leave the barge here. It's the same concept as with a train or with a tractor trailer. The whole tug and barge thing. You can drop off the load, which is, you know, in the case of a tractor trailer, the trailer. You can drop off a train car. And in this case, you can drop off a barge, and then you can take the power unit and go do something else. And so what I like to do is we could take the tugboat back here to the beginner base. So I think we'll get set up for that. And so we're going to need to get we're going to need to put this train back in, because that's a lot of money tied up. So as you can see, the diesel's almost out. We're gonna put this away. The train is working really well now. Everything is the way I like it. I really love these new tanks. These are really cool. I want to come up with my brand for petroleum. It's kind of like a petroleum company brand. All right, so let's go ahead and let's stick this back in here, and we will go and get ready to transpo this. So let's pull this back in the workbench. Let's save this really quick. Should be good, but we'll save it over. And anyways, we're still pumping and refining in that rig, but the rig will stop processing and pumping when we get a certain distance away from it, as the game kind of puts that in stasis, and that's potentially no longer even working. And so we're going to come over here. I'd like to get in some containers at some point, but I'm not really ready for that. So I think we'll start getting ready to actually move some of this oil, or not oil, but diesel and jet fuel. In this case, we're going to just do jet fuel. And we'll take that jet fuel and we'll move it over to the military island, which is to the north of Sawyer Islands. And we'll park it up there, and we'll sell as much as we can. And we'll leave it up there. And that can stay in the world, and whenever I have the opportunity, I can sell some of that off, and hopefully I can get most of that jet fuel sold. That should be a good bit of money. I think, what was the price on it? Let's check the price. So $6 for jet fuel. Currently, I don't believe that changes anymore. It used to, but it seems like a lot of people have been reporting it goes away at some point, which wouldn't surprise me if that's how they're coping with this new issue of surge pricing. So let's go ahead and let's check the tug and barge here. So I'm just checking prices really quick. So that's 46. Ooh, that's expensive. What do we have for money? 78. So Yeah, so we're talking about 30 left. What's my barge looking like? I think this is the barge I want to use. This one or this one? I think it's this one. This one's the career barge. Let's check this one here. That one is 20, so we'll have enough money to do this. You know, before we started having this oil, our ability to make our own oil, we had to go buy the commodity. We don't have to do that anymore. So one thing I can do here is to expedite this process instead of having to pump back on the barge, which for RP is a good thing. But what I'll do here is I will actually take a spawner. And we take the spawner and I'm going to stick it in here. And we're going to make this jet fuel. All right, and we'll make it 100% jet fuel. And so I could tune that to whatever I want, but I'm going to put it all in there. Ooh, I didn't mean to drop it like that. It will be all right. It will live. And so as you can see, that's 100% full of jet fuel now. And so this barge is a little bit more complex. It has the generator on it. It has all sorts of good stuff. So as you see, we have 29,215 of jet fuel in there. I'm going to do a little bit of flying around because I don't want to have to fly to the or swim to the ladder. So by launching them in these separate benches, you cannot get different parts of the same build too far away from one another. So if I spawned the barge and the tugboat together, I can't leave the barge somewhere and go somewhere at the tugboat, or else it's eventually whatever is not the major part. So say this is red and the barge is a different color, the barge will just disappear. And so by doing it this way, it's like having two different vehicles, and so they'll both stay in the world. So it's nice to get back to this tugboat. I've been missing it. Might take me a moment to get ready. So if we remember back quite a few episodes now, I re-engineered this to be an actual tugboat. When we first started, this was also our rescue boat, and so it was faster. It would do like 25 knots. It doesn't do 25 knots anymore. As you can see, we're doing like 14 knots, but this now pulls better. If you watch my gearing video, you know, I talk about how you don't get anything for free. You are trading either your RPS for torque or torque for your RPS. You don't get to have both. And so when we're talking about the way this tug operated before is we're trading torque for RPS to be able to go faster and do some rescue missions and kind of have it be an all-around craft. Well, once I decided that, you know, I'm ready to make this actually a tugboat, what I did was I traded some of that RPS for torque, and so I re-geared it, so now we have more torque. And the problem before is when I put a heavy, I'm just trying to remember how to straighten up my engines here. If I put a heavy barge on the back of this tugboat, what was happening is I was actually stalling out because I couldn't tow it very fast, so the tug might only go like 1 knot at most. Well, now it can actually tow at a reasonable speed, because it's set up to have the proper torque to be able to turn the propellers. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's get going here. So we want to winch out. So when you're out in the open ocean, you tend to pull. You don't push. There are some exceptions, like the ATB that I am building. That always pushes, and the reason is the way it attaches allows it to articulate, so that when the seas are heavy, it will articulate. If you did it with a standard tugboat, you'd be banging up against the side, and it'd be a good chance you would cause damage. All right, so cable length is that's pretty good right there. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna take override weather off. I don't need good weather anymore. We can go back to that. I kind of put that on. It was, especially in the arid biome, it's kind of flat, just yellow terrain. It's pretty boring, and when you fog it out, it's just kind of miserable. So let's go ahead and let's plot a course here. And so I probably want to shoot right up to about, oh, I don't know, there. All right, good. Let's put in the navigation system. So we'll put the waypoint in. Okay, that's good. Heading hold to bearing, and we'll put on the AP master. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some of these quote-unquote cheats here, like map player, vehicle, 3D waypoint. And I should have off, infinite electricity is off and fuel's off. All right, good. So now we're on our way. As you can see, you know, if you want to watch that video where I actually re-gear the tugboat, you can I'm not sure what episode it is, but you can go back there. I think it's in the description, and you notice we were going 14 knots without a barge, and now we're going with a barge, and you see we just hit 13 knots. We're going about, so we've only lost 2 knots to haul this barge that has 29,000 liters of jet fuel, and so jet fuel is about 0.8 kilograms per liter. So let me just, I'll do the math really quick. So let's do 29,000 times 0.8. So that's 23,000 pounds of just, jet fuel in there. And then you have the mass of the barge. And so, as you can see, this can haul well now because we've geared it properly. So I know gearing is complex for a lot of people. I constantly see, that's one of the things that I most often see is people asking for gear ratios. And often, the way I tend to teach my tutorials and stuff is if you understand the concepts, it makes it so that like for example, if people ask, hey, what's your p-value? And that's a good start, like to know what the p-value of your engine kind of should be. It doesn't really teach you how and why to do it, and like you won't know that if you have a flywheel in there, you're going to need a different p-value. Somebody sent me a message, they're like, oh, well, you should put the I and the D in there. You can, but I don't need my engines to run that accurately. I've operated many a different engine between turbines and reciprocating engines, and very few of them are that precise and accurate to what you're setting. There's plenty of variance, and I don't need them to be, I'm not flying the space shuttle here. We're operating a tugboat or we're operating a truck. The amount of like lag you get in just the idle on a tractor, IRL, you don't need hyper precision, and so that's why, for example, I just use a p-value, just the p-value in most of my engine controllers, because I don't need it to. I don't need my RPS to be within 0.00001 of the RPS that I set. I need the RPS to be within, I would say, half an RPS of where it needs to be, maybe a quarter. That's the accuracy level I need. It's the same thing, your GPS in the car doesn't need to be, accurate down to the millimeter. It needs to be accurate down to, say, the car length. And so, there's no reason to stress over that, for certain applications. But so we'll go ahead here, and I will time-lapse this out. And when we get there, we'll park up the barge, and we'll start doing some selling. So here we are. We are near the military base, which has the jet fuel sale point. And so let's just quickly take a look here. What is that? So this is it right here. I'm kind of just trying to visually do this so I don't cheat. So the orientation of the island, the tower is right here. The tentage is right there, and so the jet fuel is over there. So we should be up here. So let's go ahead and taxi in there. So let's move the heading to bearing hold. Let's shut off the AP master and let's head on in. So it took a little while to get there. I think it was like probably 40 plus minutes total. But not too bad. Nice to get back into the tugboat. Actually, it's right over here. I am looking at the wrong stuff. Okay. I had my orientation wrong. So it's right over here. So I don't know how much of this jet fuel I'm going to be able to sell at one point. Like I was saying before, they had on the ability to do... They had surge pricing. Let me just check heading real quick. 267. Let's put in there. They have a following C, so I'm just going to put on the heading hold. And so they changed surge pricing. It was going too quickly. So essentially what was happening was, you know, it started at like, say, $16 for jet fuel, and then by the time you've been there for 5 minutes, had crashed the price, and so you're wasting a lot of time. It looks like they've gone to fixed price, and a lot of people have been putting in bug reports for this, but they've also been saying that the money disappears after a while, so we'll have to see. First time doing this, so I'm certainly no authority on it at the moment, but we'll see what it does again. So big thing for us is to get some money here. We're down to 11,254. We probably should have more than that. I lost a little bit of money, you know, doing new saves and stuff like that, and I probably should have gifted myself more money as we had moved a bunch of fuel already. But I'm not going to do that. I kind of like having a little bit of money pressure. It kind of keeps me from doing, you know, too much extravagance. Kind of like in real life when, you know, there's a money concern. So start bringing in the winch. I'm going to go ahead and take off the autopilot now. And we'll steer in here. And so because of the falling sea, so the waves are going this way, the wind is this way, so we want to go on this side of the dock. So I believe that's the east side of the dock. Yeah, so this will be the east side of the dock. As you can see, we're heading in the neighborhood of west. West is that way, east is about that way, and so put this on the east side of the dock. Yep, there we go. Don't want this rising up behind us too fast here. So I'm going to park this on the east side of the dock, and that will help the waves push against it. So one thing I usually do is I shut vehicle damage off, and the reason for this is IRL, you have things like tires, fenders, you know, all sorts of different aids to help keep from having the vessel damaged up against the dock. We don't have that in game. It will smash and smash and smash until it will explode, and then there'll be flooding, and then it will sink to the bottom. And so I do this just for a little bit more realism, so, you know, be realistic as though you really had something docked. So we're going to go ahead. We have a couple of tie-down points here. We'll set that up there. Let's go ahead and start slowing it down. And so I'm still bringing this in on the cable. All right, and then I will detach the cable and maneuver as necessary. Hopefully we don't need to take the cable off. Be nice if I could just do this without taking the cable off here. So, all right, so let's take a look at it and see how it's coming. It's pretty good. Let's go ahead and I will bring it in all the way and detach this cable. Oh, excuse me, pardon me. And we'll grab this, stick it there, and I'll maneuver this up a little bit, and then we'll go tie it off. So let's get moving. The nice thing too with when I re-geared this is it behaves a little bit better. It doesn't jump as much. I can go slower. And so those are all things that are important with the tugboat, so it was nice to get those kind of fixed in when I worked on it. So let's start slowing down a little bit. And so actually what I think I'm going to do here is we'll translate to the right here. So I'm just going to use my port screw. And I'm not going to use my start. That's interesting. Game didn't like me bumping it the way I did, so that's interesting. Alright, so let me back it up, and game did not like that. Shouldn't have really bumped like that IRL, so we'll just kind of reposition here. Alright, and we'll go forward here. Go forward nice and slow. Alright. Start bringing down my starboard screw manually. So I'm just going to go in with pretty much one screw. I just have my port screw going. Alright, I'm going to zero out, and I'm going to go ahead and set up for translation. And so I want to go backward on my starboard and forward on my port. It didn't like that at all. I didn't have them set up correctly, so it was misbehaving a little bit. Alright, so I need to kind of tap them off at the same rate to get it to translate properly. I'm just tapping them. Because once they kick in, I need enough torque for the clutches to kick in. Alright, let's just, I'm just going to go backwards here and push it back with my stern. Waves are a little bit, strong now, so we'll just push it in like so. As you can see, it's sitting quite low in the water because of the, you know, it's quite heavy with jet fuel. All right, nice. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out. I want to grab, I think I should have ropes on here, maybe, hopefully. I can't recall. I have hoses there. Once I put a hose on there, it'll be fine, but, I thought I had ropes on this. I might have them somewhere in the tugboat. I can't remember. It's been a little while since I've operated this. All right, let's get... come on, get in the ladder there, guy. Let's get in the ladder there, guy. There we go. Perfect. All right, let's head on up. All right, and so where are we at here? So let's go ahead and... So this is the jet fuel buyer. It's currently at $6, so let's pump that sucker in. And I should need to probably, let me see, we're probably not getting money. Yep, we are. Okay, so we're all set. My other barge, you have to set in a number to be able to get the pump. This one you don't, so. And we can do multiples here, so let's go ahead and hook another one. Shouldn't take too long. This isn't a ton of fuel. Well, it is a ton. More than a ton of fuel. 29,000 liters is what's in there, so pretty good. That's $6 a liter. I don't know what's going to happen. I have to pay attention to it to see if this is going to act differently for me. We have ropes. Do we have ropes up here? I can't remember. Nope. So we have a dock here. I have to buy this to have this, but what's the cost of this one? So this is actually not too bad. This I'm not going to buy it now, but we can launch a ship here and... Can we? No, I don't see a workbench. Is there a workbench? No, just the ability to park here and get some fuel. All right, so I don't have any ropes on me currently. Let me see. Whoa, don't break yourself. I do have player damage off, so I need to turn that back on. Let's do that. That'll keep me from being crazy. Where player damage is on. We'll keep the vehicle damage off. What's in? That's fueling. Just trying to remember. Okay, remember my ropes are in here now, I think. Do I have ropes in here? No. Where? Did I never do rope storage in this? I may not have. Those are access ports. Okay, so I don't have any ropes to hook that up, but we're pretty good there. The hoses will keep that in line. So let's quickly, I can put one more hose on that. Let's do that. I'm not concerned about this. This isn't going to go anywhere with having 3 hoses on there. So let's grab the last hose. And we'll plug this one in, and that should keep us secure while we unload. So you definitely need to put a rope locker on the tug or put them somewhere in there. All right, so there we go. So we're already making really good money. We're already up 20 grand. So making really good money on this. Let's go ahead and watch this. So we have static pricing now, which I'm not really opposed to. Of course, you know, variable pricing is. Oh, don't close that. That's my generator in there. So, but I was trying to see if I had some ropes in there. This is an old barge. Still works really well. That's why I brought it with us here. So we should get good money off this. So I think we will end it there. And I will go ahead and check back in with you guys next episode. Hopefully this doesn't have any issues. Hopefully we can sell. See, we're already up for 43,000. And so this should give us really good money. We've been needing cash infusion. And so some of the things I've been thinking about lately is, you know, it seems like a good bit of money. The issue is this. We have a bunch of things we need to do here. So we're pumping lots and lots of oil, and that is going to be good for us to sell. Have a good investment in the bench there, so that's a good revenue stream. I have a number of vehicles now for missions, so I'm still going to get into the building of building some vehicles. We have hospital boats everywhere. And if we look at some of these places I'd like to buy, like this is a bargain down here, 40,000 for spy cakes. I would love to get into the mine. I started building a new mining vehicle that I think will be pretty cool to use. But the issue is I need to buy this base before I can sell it. So like we need a run like this to make enough profit to go do something like buying that. I showed you with the train how I can pump out of the train so we can sell diesel. I wanted to get enough diesel into the bench so that we didn't have to worry about fuel for our vehicles for a while. So that's done. The oil pumping station will keep pumping, and then at some point it'll be kind of cool to take the train all the way up here and to use the pumper car to sell some diesel here. That'll get us a good bit of money, and we can probably come over here to Spy Cakes, buy Spy Cakes, and then we can maybe get into some of the coal mining. We can launch the coal miner here and go up. I might need to buy Draymore as well. The coal miner is probably too big to fit inside of the train terminal, and so, but this will give us a sea base. This will make it more viable to do some container moving. Right now, we don't have any place to really do container transpo. If we buy Spy Cakes and we already have FJ Warner, we can do some of that. It would also be cool to kind of do some JSI. I've actually never been to JSI dock and do some container work in there. But plenty of stuff. I'm excited to play the game again. It was really nice to get rid of all that lag that I was having. And the game is working really well for me now, and I'm really enjoying it. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and I will see you in the next one.